Hi friends, it's Becky, and a few days ago I decided to do at least one spooky season design every day until Halloween. And so today I'm going to be getting into my Dia de los Muertos kit. This was a Softflex design kit. They did it for TGBE, the Great Bead Extravaganza. It's like sort of a bead show virtually. And so they put together this kit for it that was themed on Dia de los Muertos. They got some bead strands and bead mixes from Jesse James Beads. There's another bead mix from Stars Beads, these rondelles here, and then a bunch of other beads and interesting pieces that they threw in here with it. That is just a really wonderful, gloriously colorful celebration, basically, we have in there. And so I'm going to make something with these beads. I might throw in some extra things from my bead stash because I have a ton of other Halloween beads, because I've got more very bright colorful beads in this box that I think this was actually from a Softflex kit last year, with one of the trick-or-treat things that they did. I think it might have been a Jesse James Beads collaboration. I don't know, but I might pull out some of these fun things if I decide that I need to add them. I might actually pull out these red beads, but we'll get there, because I am going to be doing this design from start to finish with you. So we're going to pick out the beads. We're going to figure out how to place them. We're going to do all of this together because I heard you. Some of you have let me know that you really enjoyed it when I would do that type of video. I think I had stopped because I had gotten some feedback that I take too long to start actually making the jewelry and that I needed to skip that. But then I had somebody say that they really enjoyed it when I used to do that and that they wished that we could do that more. So this will be more of a hangout, more of a we're gonna design it together sort of situation. So we'll do that. And so if you want to skip ahead past the designing part of it, please feel free. I will find the timestamp for when I actually start putting things together. So feel free to find that timestamp in the description below and skip past it if you don't want to sit through all of the will this work together, will this don't work together, and my little decisions that I'm going to be making with this. So I am mostly going to be drawing off of the Softflex design kit that we've got here. I did actually, in my stash, I have this rose focal. It's like a connector. It has a link up here and under here, and I thought that I would add that in here. This came in one of the Jesse James Beads Magical Mystery Bead boxes. I think it was the Rock Festival one? I think it was the Rock Festival one, and I never made anything with it. So we're going to add this here, and I'm going to use it in this design because I think that it will be absolutely beautiful to have that as like the main focal. And then we can have these guys in the necklace, or I could make earrings with these. Maybe some earrings would work to go with it. You know what? Yep, let's do it with earrings. I just made that decision just now. Look at us making decisions. Good for us. But that means that we're going to need to add some other things on the sides of the necklace. Let's get all of these check glass sugar skull beads. There were a bunch of them in this kit. I love that. Oh yeah, let's get these guys for the earrings because I like having a good fluffy dangle, and that'll be just like perfect to have an earring that connects all of these together. All right, that's gonna be, and we'll do both earrings. I heard you, one of my friends was telling me that they don't like it when I skip doing the second earring. So I hear you. I am going to try and include more things so that you guys can watch and spend more time with me while we're doing these things together. All right, let's get some yellow. I want these turquoise skulls as well. And I think this guy, this little ceramic skull bead, it is giving luchador. So I'm gonna put this guy in there. Let's get some orange beads. We want all the bright colors, guys. All the bright colors. So we can do this. But yeah, this is a fantastic kit with all of these fun things. Let's put the yellow in there with the other two colors, but we're gonna get these yellow cube beads out of here. And I think actually there were some more yellow cube beads in here. So let's get those out of here, and these red beads, because that'll bring in more color that goes with the rose up into the strand. I don't think I want the bright yellow. I want these yellows, or maybe I do want the bright yellow actually. Yeah. All right, let's get a little bit more of that then. That'll work. I don't know if you are someone who celebrates Halloween. Are you all ready for the holiday? Because I am not. I discovered when someone was asking that question during a live that I am very much a last minute shopper of the what are they called? You know, the things you hand out to kids, the candy. So I should probably get some before they sell out, because I know they absolutely do sell out sometimes. And then it's just sad because you're left handing out like, I don't know, Smarties candies or something. And I'm not talking about like Canadian Smarties. I'm talking about American Smarties, the ones that are not that great. Just not that great. Let's grab some of these green guys too to get a little more color, because we've got some green on these, but let's get this in here. All right, let's start arranging these, because I think that's going to be enough beads. Ooh, maybe pops of black. I'm just going to get all of these black rondelles out here. Just all of them. I may not use all of them, but I want them to be handy for me. Yikes. Because I want some pops of black. Just because. Move over there. I'll get the rest later if I need it. So we've got some black in here, and I'm using this black in the earrings. So let's add some to our thing here. Okay, so if I've got these together as a focal with that, and then we're gonna have everything that I do on this side we'll also do on the other side. So let's start with, let's get these guys right here in the front and center. But then I'm gonna want 1, 2, 3 of these. And 1, 2, 3 of those. I'm gonna want a heart there, and then one of these. Right. And then another one of those, and another one of these. All right. And let's put these ovals on either side of the turquoise skulls. And then the yellow cubes on either side of these guys. Hold on, is that all the yellow cubes that I have? Man, that was even with getting the other ones, so why don't we switch that one around, maybe? All right, and then we've got red ones on either side of the heart. And then where are we going to put these guys? The green. There you go. I feel like that's going to be a long enough necklace as it is. I'm not going to need to add any more. In fact, why don't I take away a couple of these and yeah, we won't use those or those. I can definitely use some of those in other things. But if we have these little black beads in between, just in between everything. I think when you have bright colors and all the bright colors are all together, sometimes they can run together a little bit and they aren't as impactful as when you throw some black in there, because the black just gives it that contrast. That's something to pop against. It's like when you have like metallic colors that are in watercolor or something, and you paint it on a white background and they just look like pastel colors and you have to tip the paper just to see them shiny, but then you paint them on black paper and they just pop, they just whoop right out there. So that's one of the reasons that I'm adding these little black beads, so we can let our colors pop, they can shine. And you know, sometimes I think as people we need rough times, a little bit of dark times, so that our colors can shine too, so we can be the light, you know? Sometimes I do philosophy at the same time that I do things, but you know. All right, I think this is going to be long enough, and I think let's just do a couple more of those. I'm going to move these guys out of the way, and let's look for some materials. All right, because I'm going to start at one end, string them, and then we're going to have a focal that goes on the other end. So maybe what I need to do right now is make my little focal, and then I can start stringing. So I'm just going to move these guys out of the way over here. Just scooch them all over here out of the way. Everything is going to get in the wrong order, of course. Of course. All right. So now that that's out of the way, we can scooch in a little bit more. But not that far. There we go, that's better. That was too much. So we can start making our focal here, and I'm not going to attach anything here to the bottom. I'm just going to drop it like that. And let me get some wire, because I think I'm using gold and silver in this design, so maybe, or you know, maybe I can swap this out for a little silver rondelle. There we go. Yeah, I think I like that a little bit better. So let's grab some silver wire. Just gonna take a look over here for some 20 gauge. All right, well, this is pewter color, which is close enough. Pewter color goes really well with like antique silver or pewter or this one right there. Or what is it? Stainless steel findings. It's a pretty good thing for that. So let's get about 5 inches, maybe 6 inches of wire. And I'm going to make a little loop on one end of it. And I'm going to use some round nose pliers to make my loop. I've also got some chain nose pliers that I'm going to be using for wire working. And I've got my flush cutters for cutting my wire. So a couple of inches down from the end, I'm going to bend this back away from me. I'm going to use my round nose pliers, and I'm just going to set that right on top of that bend and push with my finger. And I'm going to get this further up than the point, somewhere closer to the handle, because that'll give me a larger loop. Just moving my pliers out of the way so that I can keep it going all the way around like that. And having this larger loop will make it so it will fit better on this, because that's a very thick sort of bead area, bead hole. And I would like this to go, actually be on here. There we go, like that. Right, so now that that is through here, it's gonna hold on here. You can use your fingers or another set of pliers to move this around, just the end of the wire, just to wrap it around a couple of times. Give that a little smush to make it look better. Cut off my excess. And now I'm gonna pop my little luchador mask on there. I'm sorry, I'm calling him that. Actually, let's get one of these guys on first as a cushion between the wrap and the ceramic bead. And then we're going to do another little cushion here at the top. And these, I think, were on the bead strand is where these came from. And then this did not come in the kit. It was something that I pulled out of my stash, because I wanted to have a little fancy crown. Look at that. And then this guy right here, going right on top. He's our fancy, fancy bead. He's got some red, he's got some turquoise, he's got some black, and he's going to tie a whole bunch of this stuff together. So now that I've got that all loaded on here, I want to make another loop up here at the top. So I'm going to hold on to this, and I want my loop to be parallel to the loop down here. So I'm going to bend this away from me, and I'm going to leave some space here between the bend and the bead for wrapping my next loop. And this loop does not need to be a big loop, because we're just going to string it on some beading wire. So I'm going to wrap my loop closer to the end of my wire, and then I rotate it up after it comes around so that it can go all the way around like that. We're going to do more of this type of wrapped loop when we make our earrings. So if you didn't get enough of this now, just wait, there's more. oof. I don't know if you guys saw, but Softflex is having a sale on Craftware right now, which is fantastic. Because this color, the pewter, is pretty useful actually. Like sometimes silver can just be too bright, like the silver color. You want something a little more steely and a little less silvery. All right, so there we go. We've got our little focal that is going to hang down in the middle of our necklace. So I'm going to grab some beading wire. I've got the black onyx beading wire. I'm just going to start stringing from one of the ends. I'm not going to cut the wire until after we've strung it, so I'm just going to leave it on its spool. I'm going to start up here at the top. We're just going to string these guys on here. So yeah, I heard you, Pauline. We're going to do the whole thing. I'm not going to time travel you to the future, to when it's all strung. So for this part, hold on, that's going to be the top. I want my skull head to be facing upright, so I need to, oh wait, that's the way it's going to be. Okay, yeah, that's the end. Okay, that's not, so I am doing it right. I want to go through the skull, the head part of the skull first, and not the chin part first for stringing this on. Whew. I got all turned around. For some reason I was thinking that this part here would be the down part, and not this part being the part that's attached to a what is it called? A thing. Clasp. Oh, I need to decide on a clasp too. That is something I can do. I think there is a lobster clasp in the kit, so I'll just use that. I think that'll make it easy. But yeah, we are just as colorful as possible. And for the heart, I'm going to go through the little divot and down towards the point when I string this. This is hollow, so you have to get it at the right angle for it to come through the other hole. But yeah, I think this weekend is when I'm going to need to go stock up on trick-or-treat goodies. When we lived in an apartment, we did not get very many trick-or-treaters. You know, probably for a good reason. If you had kids and you lived in apartments, most likely you were going to go to like a trunk-or-treat or something else like that, or go to your friends' neighborhoods who lived in houses to do that sort of thing, which makes sense. Oh, perfect. That is definitely going to be long enough. I was just doing a fit check, holding that up against my neck to see how it would lay. And I love it so far. All right. Let's go ahead and string this guy on. This is very heavy already. This is going to be great. All right, and now I'm going to go up this side. So as I string on my skulls, I'm going to go for the chin first instead of head first, so that they can be turned right side up when it's being worn. But yeah, so we didn't get any kids, and then when we moved to a neighborhood where there are kids, they play outside, we can hear them playing and doing things, and it's fantastic. I love it. But we also get, you know, we get Girl Scouts who stop by our house. We get the kids, like groups of kids, teenagers, stopping by and doing trick-or-treating, and I love it. Nobody else hands out candy in my house, but I do, so I dress up that night so that I can have a costume while I'm greeting the door, and I put a little costume on my girls too sometimes. Ellen and Natalie will dress up. Ellen's favorite is her hot dog costume. Natalie's favorite is her dinosaur costume, because she is a baby dinosaur. And Natalie freaks out a little bit, but Ellen loves Halloween. It is her favorite night. She will sit in front of the door just staring at the door, at the bottom of the door, waiting and waiting and waiting. And she doesn't know, because she doesn't understand seasons. She doesn't understand days of the year and months and how those things work. But she knows when all of the little kids start knocking on our door and I start opening it and they start oohing and eyeing and gasping at this adorable dog that she is. And she's not like a tiny puppy. She's a pit bull, but she loves children so much. So she wags her tail and she just wants to be pet by them. And then they get done giving her pets. And the thing is, some kids are afraid of dogs, and that's fine. I always am like, hey, if you're afraid, I'll put her behind, I'll close the door and she'll stay inside, you know? It happens. Most kids are happy to see her, but some kids are afraid of dogs. So I don't try to subject them to having to pet her in order to get candy. Nobody has to do anything to get candy except knock on my door. You don't even have to wear a costume. Just show up with a bag or a tote or something. Because I'm just like, that's the best, is giving candy out to all those kids. Look at that. All right, and part of me kind of wants these guys in here too, but then I feel like it's just going to be too long and too heavy, because I have issues with wearing necklaces that are too heavy. It gives me a headache somehow. It's probably just the strain of it, but all right, there we go. That's going to be enough for that. Let's get some crimps and a lobster clasp. I'm just going to crimp a loop on this side. And we got these oxidized silver crimps in the kit. I'm going to go ahead and use those. These are 2x2 crimp tubes. They are my favorite crimp tubes because they work perfectly with my magical crimper, which is my favorite way of crimping, because I don't have to use crimp cover. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put a crimp tube on the end, bend my wire around like that, just to make a little loop. Okay, hold those wires straight. And now I'm just going to take my magical crimper here. It has this little round concavity in here that will round out this crimp as it crimps it. So I'm going to center the crimp in the magical crimper's concavity, give it a little smush. It's going to crimp down just the corners of that crimp tube. And then when I turn it at a different angle and smush it, and then turn it at a different angle and smush it, and just keep turning it and smushing it, it rounds out all of those edges and corners, and you get this nice little ball of crimp. It's pretty secure. All right, I'm just going to move all of these beads down there. just cutting off my extra wire. Go through there. We're just having some fun with beads, making spooky things. Oh, I love it. It's so colorful. It's my favorite. All right, now, oh, I need a clasp, don't I? Let me get that out of there. Did you see the bead embroidery that Kristen did with these patches? That is so, so cool looking. Oof. Also, they had a couple of pieces of like dichrotic glass that got put in all of ours, and mine are these blue triangles. Absolutely gorgeous. So I will 100% be making something with these later, but not tonight, because you know I gotta make spooky things other nights of the week too. I'm gonna stick those in there with those blue ones. Where is it? There we go. Lobster clasp. And I'm gonna make sure that the lobster clasp works. It usually always does. But like there was that one time, and that's why I always check now. I don't want my necklace to be too stiff, so I'm gonna curve my necklace while I crimp it, so that when it's uncurved, it'll be more flowy than otherwise. Oh, so I got my crimp on there. I'm gonna definitely want to go through my lobster clasp and bend that back down through the crimp. I'm just gonna go through that one bead to tighten that up. All right. And I want there to be a little bit of space between that bead and the crimp. Don't know if you guys can see that very well. So if it's right up against the bead, it makes it a little bit harder to center the crimp in the crimper. So I just usually use my fingernail to scooch it over a little bit and get myself some space so that I can center it and do a proper crimp on that second end. All right, so now we've got a necklace, our Dia de los Muertos necklace. Ah, beautiful. So let's set this aside real quick and get these guys out here. To make some earrings. All right. Got my 20 gauge wire, but let's make some ear wires real quick with the 22 gauge. Just super quick, super quick. Ooh, you know what? Let's make ear wires that have a bead on them and use these yellow beads for that. All right. I'm gonna just cut 2 different lengths of that's about 4 inches of wire. And whatever I do to one, I'm gonna want to do to the other. All right, let's make sure that they are flush. Right there. I'm going to grab my 6-step bell making pliers to make my ear wires. And I'm just going to use the smallest step to make a loop. This is what's going to attach the ear wire to the earrings. Like that. And I'm not going to center that loop. I'm going to leave it just like that. But I am going to pop this little bead right there on the bottom of that. I'm going to hold on to this and choose the second largest loop. And I want this loop to be pointing away from the loop that I'm about to wrap it around. And I'm just going to pull this around this way. I'm not going to bring it all the way around. I'm just going to bring it so it's kind of running parallel to it that way. So I have a little loop like that. Let me do that to my second one. Loop around. Now, if I hold that there, grab my I want the bend in this to be at the narrowest point between what's going on here and there. So that's going to be here. Just going to bend that back, cut off the end. And then I usually use a metal file to smooth out the edge. So it doesn't, tear up the ear when it goes in. And I want this to keep its shape. So I am about to smush this flat with my pliers to work harden it. Should probably have bent that forward a little bit more. That's fine. This is gonna do it. And we'll hold on. And this will probably come off on its own when it's not being worn. So I'm probably gonna grab some earring backs to stick on my wire so that the bead doesn't come off when it's not being worn. There's gotta be better ways of doing this. Probably are. Anyway, I am going to do the earrings now. Alright, 20 gauge wire. Let's go ahead and do both of these at the same time. I'm going to leave my wire on the spool and I'm just going to put both of these on here. And I'm going to make a wrapped loop. So we're going to bend it back, bring it around, all the way around. But before I wrap it, I'm going to attach my little tassel, a little black flower tassel right there at the bottom. And then we're going to wrap that loop. 1, 2, 3. Okay. This is why I string the beads on before I do it, is so that, hold on, that needs to be a lot straighter if this bead is going to go down here. Especially when they're bigger beads like this. I need to know where to cut it. And I usually like to measure about 3 fingers away from the bottom of the bead that I've strung on. And that will be enough for me to be able to do a loop up here at the top. So let's hang on to these guys. And I'm going to go ahead and bend over the top of my pliers. Grab my round nose pliers, do a little loop. Now the loop on the earring wire is it is a simple loop, so it's going to be able to open and close for me to connect it. This is very awkward trying to maneuver it around the big bead here. So I'm going to grab a second set of pliers because again it's very awkward. And I keep bumping the wire on my second ring light. So we're not doing more beading in the dark. Not tonight. Go ahead and do that. It's lasted me quite a while, this ring light, and it is just now. It's the plug, the wire for the plug, and it's not something that I can replace. So I just have to get a different ring light in here, which is not a hard thing to do. All right, so now I'm going to swing this open. Attach my guy. And now I have an earring that will go with my Dia de los Muertos necklace. And let's do our second one. I need this to be kink free. So I'm just warming it with my fingers. And sometimes if it's pretty kinky, if you bend it around your thumb a little bit and then bend it around your finger the other way, it helps work out some of those kinks for you. And it's nice and straight and also nice and warm, which makes it easier to work with. All right, let's get these guys on here. Don't go very far, friend. Second one. Let's just keep going. So there's a ton more beads in that kit that I haven't even gotten to. It's entirely possible that a lot of them will find their way into my Halloween stash for next year too. Which is, it's not a bad thing to have a stash of Halloween-y beads. Not bad at all, because then when you feel like making something spooky, you've already got what you need. I was sorely, sorely tempted to get the little trick-or-treat bags that they were selling at Softflex. But I have a lot of Halloween beads, and I really need to use what I have and not get more. So I'm gonna do that. I'm not gonna go buy more. It's always the frustrating part, isn't it, about being a responsible adult? It's a scam, let me tell you. You know, I think I'm gonna turn this guy the other way around. Yeah, I like that one better. And that's just because of the way that it's coming out of the rows there. I think that's going to handle being up against the loop a little bit easier up here than it will being against the top of my skull head. But also I'm probably going to need to get that other that was way more awkward than it needed to be. Friends, I have too many of you on here. There you go, that's much better. All right, let's get this guy around. This is also a lot more awkward than it needs to be. That's me. I can really be awkward sometimes. Whoop. Where you going, buddy? One more, one more. All right, let's go ahead and cut that. And then tuck it. Whew. Why am I making things difficult for myself? All right. This is so colorful. This is going to be so much fun to try on this weekend when I do my wrap up. All right. So here we go. 2 earrings. And a necklace. Celebrating life and loved ones, even after they're gone. All right. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I hope you enjoyed this. If you got the Dia de los Muertos kit, I hope you were able to make some really fun things with that too. Let me know what kind of things you made with it if you got it. And I will put links to this in the description below. I don't know if it's still in stock. Sometimes their kits sell out. It might still be available, or at least maybe the bead mix might still be available. I don't know. I don't know what their stock levels are like, but I'll put links to Softflex in the description so you can check it out, see if you can get their kit. And hope you have a fantastic night. If you like what you saw, go ahead and hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. Happy beading.